Welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Thursday, March 20th. I'm Jimmy Prince for the details. The name of persons in arrears for property tax will be published at the end of this month. That's according to Comptroller at the Inland Revenue Department, Kelvin Pompey, in an interview with SVG-TV News today. Pompey noted that the implementation of the new rates for property taxes is only in its first year, and with this new process, they are still analyzing the data of compliance. He noted that while they have seen an increase in the overall level of compliance with the new system, there still remains a number of persons under the old system with outstanding payments.
Publication of this list is a prerequisite for further action, for the department taking action against persons who are outstanding. So once this list has been published, the department can now implement some of the enforcement measures that are prescribed under the new system. And under the old property tax, we could not have garnish salaries and wages and go to persons' bank accounts, things like that. But currently, the new law gives the Comptroller, the department, the ability to now garnish salaries and wages and to seize properties and assets for non-payment of property taxes. And sometime in April, we will be effecting an enforcement drive against defaulters of property taxes.
Pompey took the opportunity to encourage persons who have not yet paid their 2013-2014 property taxes to do so soonest.
There are large amounts outstanding on arrears. Let's work together to see how we can get the taxes and the liabilities settled. But to avoid the department and to avoid paying your taxes, I do not think that that is a rational response to any taxpayer at this point in time, since the department can easily now identify who the defaulters are, and they are now in a position to take the necessary action to collect the outstanding taxes.
Meantime, the Inland Revenue Department head has expressed concern with the level of compliance of personal taxes from self-employed professionals. Pompey told SVG-TV News, based on statistics, the message seems not to be getting through sufficiently to these people.
We are looking at doing specific projects sector-wise on certain classes of self-employed professionals, and I think by the end of this month we should be in a position in terms of our data analysis to effect certain actions against certain sectors of professionals, self-employed professionals, because we are not satisfied with the level of compliance from self-employed professionals.
The Milton Cato Memorial Hospital earlier today received another set of medical supplies, this time from the local chapter of Soroptimist International, through the efforts of two Vincentian nationals residing in the United States. Nina Moloney, representing the couple, Mr. and Mrs. Belingi, gave a background to this operation.
As they went to the ward, that was the female medical ward, there was a patient there, and she was out of Pampers. So they got a little concerned about that. I had to explain to them it is not the responsibility of the General Hospital to supply these commodities. It's family. And it was during our conversation back from that visit, they say, I think we can help.
Minister of Health Clayton Burgin, who expressed his gratitude to the donors, said that the supplies come at a significant period in the life of the health sector here.
These medical supplies will be used by our team of health professionals right here at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital as they continue to deliver health care to our citizens who access the public health care system. This donation of medical supplies comes at a very opportune time in the development of our services, particularly as a consequence of the December 2013 floods, when this very facility was negatively affected.
And the president of the local chapter of Soroptimist International, Gale, promises her organization's continued commitment towards the transformation of women and girls in the country, and says the staff and the patients at the hospital will benefit tremendously from the medical supplies.
This donation this morning is made possible through our sister Nina, who speaks to our commitment to health care, and we are more than pleased to make this presentation to the health services, particularly the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. We are confident that its contents will go a long way in improving the lives and health of so many.
As Liat's refitting exercise continues, the airline to date has taken delivery of some 6 aircraft, including 4 ATR-72 and 2 ATR-42, and is expecting 2 additional ATR-42s in 2014. Prime Minister and the Chair of Liat's shareholder governments, Dr. Gonsalves, told the media that a 5th ATR-42 will be delivered in 2015. Dr. Gonsalves explains that Liat has experienced some financial setback as it is yet to sell some of its Dash 8 aircraft.
There are 3 Dash 8 planes which we're supposed to sell. We sold 1. We have a problem in selling the other 2. A delay in selling the other 2, not that there is not a market for them. And the people who buy them would refurbish them and the like. But remember, we had a fire in Antigua and all the records were burnt. Now when you sell a plane, you have to sell the plane with its history. What has happened to it? So the records have had to be, you have to reconstruct the records, and it has taken a longer period of time than had been anticipated. Of course, you can sell them as they are for spare parts. The management, the board of directors would have to make their decision as to how they reconstruct the records, and if they sell it just for spare parts, they'll get less money for it than if they sell it so that it can go into the air.
Dr. Gonsalves further explains that the Liat shareholder governments have fallen short of their target of $27 million for equity contribution.
If you look at the equity contribution, you'll see that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has paid all its money which we're supposed to put in. Barbados has paid almost all, but there's a shortfall in among the shareholders, not including us, because we have paid our money of $6.3 million US, and that is being addressed with some urgency because that came out of the meeting, which we have to address that.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves says that none of the shareholders has put subsidies in the airline since 2008.
Borrowed money from CDB before to put into Liat when we were buying out Stanford and paying off some debts. And since then, of course, we have put in equity to refleet, but we haven't put in annual monies to keep the airline afloat. So when you hear people saying that it's bleeding the treasury every year, that is not so. And when they say that it's every year you're putting in the subsidies, that is also not so.
Still on air transportation, following the announcement yesterday by Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves that the Trinidad-based Caribbean Airlines has expressed interest in operating from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVG-TV News took to the streets of capital Kingston to get the views of how Vincentians feel about this move. Here's more.
Into St. Vincent well, I wouldn't say the Grenadines, but St. Vincent and Grenadines is one country now. Okay? It's a matter for them. I am rather surprised that the government is trying to tell Caribbean Airlines they can't operate because of Liat. We are not going to get anywhere with Liat. It's one of the best things that would ever happen to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Nothing better than that. It's very good. You know what I mean? With Liat one thing, when you got one thing going, you all kind of problem. Breaking down and all them things. We don't want that. But when you have a competition with something else, you have to do better. You understand that?
It is not right with Liat alone, because with Caribbean Airlines it's a competition, and I believe more people will be able to travel.
It is rubbish. It's too much waiting around in Barbados and always late. It'll be better when you should be Carib started it used to be better than they got two crafts in it.
Well, I think it can be a boost for the country, and it can also, when it comes to help the economy with tourists coming in and so.
Well, some persons refuse to speak on camera about that particular issue. Let's move on now. The Serious Offences Court has been provided with equipment to assist in the smooth administration of justice here. The equipment were provided by the Bureau of International Narcotics Law Enforcement Affairs of the United States Embassy in Barbados through the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The gift, comprising a laptop computer, speakers, and a projector, have already been handed over to the Serious Offences Court. The DPP's office says the equipment will be used primarily when video-recorded interviews with accused persons are to be played in court. SVG recently enacted 2 important laws which permit the use of technology in court. These are the Interviewing of Suspects for Serious Crimes Act No. 4 of 2012 and the Witness Special Measures Act No. 37 of 2013. 6 farmers to leave the state tomorrow for a 2-week training course in Taiwan. More stories on the local scene when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still in the local scene. 6 farmers, accompanied by 1 officer of the Co-operative Division, will leave the state tomorrow to attend a 2-week training course in Taiwan on agricultural marketing operations of farmers, groups, and cooperatives. While in Taiwan, the Vincentian team will observe the operations of one of the more outstanding farmers groups known for the production and marketing of sweet peppers, as well as other farmers associations. According to Chong Yu Lee, chief of the Taiwan Agricultural Mission here, the primary objective of the visit will be to expose the participants to the operations of the various organizations and facilities as a means of improving their skills and competencies as future trainers and leaders of farmers groups in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The visit to Taiwan by the 7 nationals is being facilitated by both the governments of Taiwan and this country. Cocoa farmers here are being encouraged to graft their cocoa trees to maximize their profitability on the market. Ruth Maloney of Amarjaro says they are promoting profitability in the industry and urge farmers to ensure that every tree has 20 pods, which she says will see them getting around 1,600 pounds per acre.
Because we want every tree on the farm to be getting 20 pods per acre. And what generally happens with cocoa is that you'll get 80% of your production coming from 20% of the trees because you're not using grafting material, you're using seed. So it's a very critical part of our program is that you use grafted material. We're grafting both in the field and in the nursery.
Maloney says farmers can access these grafting materials from the Gene Bank at Orange Hill, which houses a number of planting materials.
That got planted in December, and we expect we'll be starting to pull grafting material off that sometime later this year. So we've set up the gene banks, we've set up 2 nurseries, one at Orange Hill, one in Dixon, and we're starting to produce seedlings for distribution to farmers. At the moment we have about 80,000 seedlings in the nursery, which is enough to plant about 180 odd acres of cocoa.
Approximately $190,000 EC has been handed over to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines from the SVG Relief 2014 Fund. Yesterday, manager of the National Broadcasting Corporation, Corditor Olivier, handed over a second installment of the funds raised from a telethon following the December 24th throw-off system, which killed some 9 persons and left 3 unaccounted for. Olivier presented Prime Minister Gonsalves with a check valued at $64,886.53, which she says represents the balance in the SVG relief account as of February 19th. Prior to yesterday's handing over, a check of $125,000 was presented to the government. That's prior to yesterday's handing over.
The radiothon that was held involved all of the stations but one. And that particular station, they did indicate that they had some paid programs that day, which they found it difficult to shift. So all of the other stations were involved. And this is something that regularly happens. We have had a radiothon in the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan, for the rebuilding of Grenada, and in the aftermath of the passage of Tropical Storm Thomas, we also had a radiothon to assist in the local rebuilding effort. And NBC has once again played host to the most recent radiothon, which came in the aftermath of the December floods. So we are pleased on behalf of the stations that took part and the public which contributed their various sums to hand over this amount of $64,886.53 to the Prime Minister for the ongoing relief efforts.
Prime Minister Gonsalves expressed thanks to the management and staff of NBC and all the other radio stations that participated in the fundraiser.
We have received important contributions from entities nationally and of course regionally and internationally. And we thank everyone who has been involved in this. Every time that there's been a national disaster and Carlita and her team, they've put something together, I make sure that I participate because it's a very good national gesture. Thanks very much. I will have this go to the Accountant General, made out to the government of SVG Disaster Relief Fund, which is an account at the Office of the Accountant General.
In other news now, women in the police force yesterday got the opportunity to learn more about endometriosis by gynecologist Dr. Camille Nicholls. This was made possible by Soroptimist International SVG. Endometriosis is a gynecological condition in which cells from the lining of the uterus appear and flourish outside the uterine cavity. President of the Soroptimist International, Gale Davis, says this year the organization is focusing on health care and have decided to address this condition.
At SIGB's 79th conference, held in Newcastle, England last year, clubs were encouraged to raise awareness of the medical condition. We accepted the challenge. The effort is intended to be global, and in this context, Soroptimist International of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as part of its program action for 2014, decided to place the spotlight on this problem for national attention. Our purpose is to broaden the knowledge of young female adults, and may I hasten to add the males also, and empower them to become self-care agencies with regard to their reproductive health.
Davis said through the awareness program, they are hoping to raise the organization's profile by letting others know what they are committed to.
Soroptimist International, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is an affiliate of Soroptimist International of Great Britain and Ireland, referred to as SIGB, which has consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council. This July, Soroptimist celebrates 27 years and is community-oriented. It is an organization which is committed to a world where women and girls achieve their individual and collective potential, realize their aspirations, thus transforming their lives. We are confident that in the years ahead, new members will join the club as we promote Soroptimism as an example of good practice.
In her presentation, Dr. Nicholls told the participants that endometriosis does not discriminate and can happen to any woman once they are still going through their menstrual cycle.
It has been shown that you can have a familial association. So if your mom had endometriosis or has endometriosis, if your sister, cousin have endometriosis, chances are you may have it. And it is very, very common, even more common than breast cancer or AIDS. We have a lot of theories. The main one is that it's retrograde menstruation, which is what I explained to you, where you have backflow of blood and sort of all of the blood when you're having your period coming through the cervix and out from the vagina, we get it being deposited into the peritoneal cavity or the abdomen. There are other theories that it could be spread through the blood or through the lymphatic system. It may be caused by us healthcare providers. When we are doing procedures, sometimes the endometrial tissue that should be inside the uterus gets deposited outside.
Customers of the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECCU, will now benefit from 2 complimentary services provided through its 24-hour link services. The 2 delivery channels, GECCU Online and the GECCU mobile app, were officially launched yesterday. In his presentation on the online service, Anton Jardine, GECCU's Assistant Data Administrator, says it will make it easier for members of GECCU to be able to conduct business with the credit union.
Online, it makes your credit union transactions a lot easier to do, especially when it comes to transfers and paying your loans and paying other person's accounts. Another feature that we'll be implementing soon is the ability to pay your bills from GECCU Online. The feature is available, not yet to the public, but the feature is there waiting to be open to the public.
Osbert Cunningham, Junior Marketing Officer at GECCU, says with the new app, extensive information on GECCU's services will be provided.
In the technological evolutionary environment, mobile applications or apps are developed to replace traditional style of service delivery. These mobile apps and application software designed to run on smartphones, tablet computers, and other mobile devices. The GECCU mobile app would enhance the relationship that we have with our members and the general public through real-time connectivity.
Chief Executive Officer of GECCU, Lennox Bowman, says the launch of the 2 complimentary services marks a celebratory moment for the financial institution. Bowman added that GECCU has been instrumental in providing valuable services to its customers over the past years.
We provide a service that that our members want, and we provide a service that adds value to our members. When your performance is improving year after year, when your performance and operations are improving year after year, we have something to celebrate.
And the president of GECCU, Clarence, says the institution has much to be proud of.
GECCU was the first and still is the only credit union in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to provide ATM services to its members. And again today, we are the first to provide online services and mobile services to our members.
Meanwhile, President of SVG Cooperative League, Junior Bacchus, says while he strongly supports information technology, it's important for GECCU to ensure confidentiality with the 2 new services.
Privacy is critical. Be always conscious out there that there are people who are finding ways and means to hack into your system, and you're dealing with money, and money sometimes for some people can be very tempting, and so you need to keep security always in the forefront. Make sure that you embrace the elements of WACO's consumer protection clauses that they advocate at this level.